Hey, Alex. I mean, you know how tough it is to play in this league. What does it say about Jarvis Landry that he has gone 7 seasons without missing a single game? You know, he's playing through the broken rib. He told us right now. Just kind of weighing on the toughness that he has to have to do what he's done.
Yeah, really, there's no one tougher on the team, really. I mean, you think about the things that he does, and then the injury he had, and the way he still plays after the injury. You know, hats off to him. You know, he's made out of burlap, man. He's tough as nails, and we're definitely fortunate to have him on the team and appreciate that toughness. It brings to the whole team.
Thanks, Jake. We'll go to Tom Wither for next one.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Coach. I'm sticking on Jarvis for 1 second. You played in the league. What kind of a trickle-down effect does that have when a player, especially one of his stature, is willing to go out and play with an injury like that?
It's big trickle down. Everybody in the locker room understands that. You know, it's week 7 in the NFL. There's not a lot of guys that feel great, but to have an injury like that and to play through it, you know, it sets a fire under everybody else's butt in that locker room. You know, if Juice is out there giving his best with you know, an injured rib, then why aren't we doing the same? So it really does light a fire under the guys in the locker room.
Obviously, you guys didn't get off to the start that you wanted last week. You know, when you get down early like that, Coach, you know, how much does that limit your ability to kind of counterpunch? How much did that make it easier for the Steelers to kind of do what they wanted to, especially on defense?
Yeah, it definitely does. When you get down a few scores in the game, you know, the defense changes a little bit. They pin their ears back to rush the passer. The thought of you know, bringing a safety down in the box and giving you one-on-one matchups kind of goes away. So it changes your game plan a little bit. But we definitely have to do a better job of starting fast and not digging those holes for us early in the game.
Thank you, Tom. Nate Ulrich, we'll go to you.
Hey, Coach, what are the main lessons you want Baker to learn from each of those interceptions, and what are some of the other things you're stressing to him after that game?
You know, just you've got to keep getting better each week. You know, it's always about the ball first and protecting the football, whether you're a ball carrier or a passer, making great decisions. You know, that's a big part of it. He got a little fooled on a coverage there than the first pick, and the second one was just a poor decision of trying to do too much. So it's finding that happy medium of, you know, knowing when the play's over, and ultimately knowing that turnovers cost us, and we can't turn the ball over at that position or any position on the offense.
Thanks, Nate. Next up is Scott Petcher.
Hey, Coach, when you watch that Pittsburgh game, what stands out to you about your offensive line's performance?
You know, obviously that's an extremely good front. You know, they're a talented group, and we did not play our best football. I think, you know, as you look at a team like that, it's a really good defense. You have to play one of your best games offensively across the board to be in the game with them, and we definitely didn't do that. I got a lot of confidence in the guys up front. There's no question. Those guys are going to play at a high level for a long time in this year. But that was definitely not our best outing as a group. And we're looking forward to rebound. That's the beautiful thing about this league. You know, it's 16 sprints, really, kind of that Tour de France. We didn't win this leg of the race, but we got a next one coming Sunday, and that's the one we're worried about right now.
Because the line has been so good for you before that game, do you kind of see a renewed focus or commitment or something?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes when you get kicked in the butt, it kind of, you know, brings some awareness back to you, a little self-awareness of where we're at, and refocuses everybody. You know, it ties them all down, locks them in, and this is the NFL, so you can go out there any week and go against any team, and if you're not playing at a high level, at your best level, there's a chance that you're not going to win that game. So it reiterates to us the focus, the narrowing of the focus this week to get ready to play in Cincinnati.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Jeff Shadell has our next question. Go ahead, Jeff. Your line is unmuted. May have some technical issues there. Mary Kay Cabot, we'll go to you.
All right, Coach. Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
I'm driving out to practice, so trying to be safe and do this at the same time. So I am just wondering, when you've got guys like Jarvis playing with a broken rib, you've got you know, Jarvis and Odell. They went through surgeries to get healthy through the for this season. And you know, how are you going to keep those guys? And do you feel like things are going to get better in this passing game over the next few weeks so that, so that they can feel like they're contributing and the passing game is what you guys want it to be, or at least more so what you need it to be?
Yeah, obviously, I think we'll improve there as the season goes along. Our mentality here is the sky's not falling. It was one football game. We didn't play well across the board, but we have played some really good football and done some good things in the past game and the run game up to this point. So those guys give everything they have. I don't think there's anybody on the team that really doesn't. Obviously, Odell and Jarvis coming back from the injuries and battling through injuries and playing through injuries. Bake played through an injury, last week. Guys want to be out there. They want to be out there for their teammates and win. We'll be just fine. But we feel good that the sun came up after the game, so that's all positive, and we're looking forward to getting down to Cincinnati.
And real quick, what do you think about, Odell's, saying that, he just never wants to come out of a game. He wants to play it to the final whistle. And will that change how you guys approach at least, the decision-making with him going forward?
I would definitely want those type of players on our team, as opposed to the guys that would be happy to be pulled out of a game, in kind of a game that got away from us. Baker was not real happy. He didn't talk to me for a little while after the game either. He wanted to stay in as well. So those are the guys you want on your team, the fighters, the guys that want to finish the race. Again, I did say this is a 16 game, one at a time sprint, and it's a little bit of a marathon in that regard. So we've got some guys that were injured. We need to get out of that game and get healthy for the long run. But I do appreciate the fact that they want to play, and I love that about those guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Great. Hey, Dan Lobby over. Next question.
Hey, Coach, I'm just curious what you've seen from Kevin Stefanski's approach after a loss like that, and sort of how he's addressed that and been able to move on.
Very impressive. Coach is very consistent. He has a very solid message of what we need to get done. He's very clear of what we needed to accomplish on that Monday after the game, and part of that was flushing it once we were done evaluating and learning from it. So even talking about it this long is making me a little bit, giving me the willies. So like I said, it's over. It's behind us. We've learned from it, and now it's on to the next one.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. Nate Ulrich, you're up.
Hey, Coach. When you said Baker wouldn't talk to you, what do you tell him? How do you work through it?
It's part of the deal. It's like I said, it's a long season. That was a game we weren't going to come back from there at the end. Guys were banged up, so to give them a little bit of extra time off to heal up. He had taken some big hits in the game. After already coming in with a little bit of a dinged up rib. So just to be able to protect these guys from themselves, I'm sure they'd all like to play to the end, but sometimes you got to be smart and think about the future as well.
Hey, Coach, obviously, you know the story of Baker coming when he got the job, and he had a great rookie season and took steps back last year. This year, been up and down a little bit, getting a ton of criticism from the outside. What is your overview of where he's at and what you think he can be?
I think he's, the arrow is up for sure. He's going to continue to get better. We're still very new in the system of what we're getting done. As far as the outside criticism, I hope he doesn't listen to that. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure. One thing that I've told him, that one of the biggest steps I made as a coach was not listening to anything and just trusting the internal, criticism that you get from your coaches. Those are the ones that matter. Everybody from the outside really doesn't have a great idea of what's going on the inside. So, be tough on yourself, but, turn off that outside noise.
Is that hard to ask a guy like that who admits to using that as fuel throughout his career? If you think it can be detrimental, but it's helped him in his mind in the past?
That's a tough one. I would hope that, that wouldn't be what drives him. I think, just playing good for your teammates, playing better for your teammates, that would be what would drive a guy. And I'm sure he falls into that category.
Go to Scott Petcher for one more quick one before we close. Got to make sure we have time for the wood.
Hey, Coach, I know Kareem's been dealing with some injury stuff too, but how eager do you think he is to kind of have a breakout game, especially, taking over that number one spot for Nick?
Oh, yeah, definitely excited for that to happen for Kareem. He's a guy that works his butt off. Also playing a little nicked up right now. Like I said, nobody's really feeling great right now, but fighting through, and then, hopefully he can have the success he wants and deserves.